spearmen, so yeah, we'll see how they play it. Tons of sheep right in the base there, going over to MarineLorD. And yeah, this game's gonna be a bit crazy probably.
Look at how close the relics are.
Yeah.
I love this. There's not much room for the relics to spawn, so it makes perfect sense. And yes, that is quite a short distance. There's not too much room to spread out. There's not too many kind of secondary resource nodes. I don't think this is going to be a 3 TC boom type of map over here.
Oh, definitely not. And this is one other good thing about the Mongol pick for Beasty is like, if we look at MarineLorD's base, his resources are a little bit more exposed to something like a tower rush. But if you try to build a tower against Mongols, that gold mine is already like up close with the town center. It's going to be a little bit harder to get it on a good location.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It almost feels like your TC gives vision of your opponent's TC off the start almost. So definitely an interesting map. Definitely not a ton of map to actually take control of. So you're going to have to be careful with your scout pathing. You can easily do one of those where you clicked aside or you shift clicked a little bit around and you're going to be running right past the TC.
Yeah, interesting. Beasty actually canceled the barracks. And switched everything over to food and gold, and he might just be trying to age right now. I'm pretty sure he did see the barracks from MarineLorD.
Yeah, he must have seen the barracks from MarineLorD, so he reacted and said, okay, it's not even worth me doing that. MarineLorD wasted, not wasted, but he used 150 wood for a barracks, and, that's 150 wood that Beasty can be ahead. He could drop a pastures, not saying that makes sense, but just saying he has that wood to be able to utilize for whatever he wants.
Yeah, you can see here MarineLorD, he's going to see the rubble on the ground and he's going to know the barracks has been canceled, and this Ovu is not very well defended by the town center, so he could try and apply a lot of pressure here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he opts to do. He goes, all right, you don't have any spearmen out, you don't have any production out, I'm just going to send 1, 2, maybe 3 Donzo out, and they're going to help to burn down your Uvu. Even if you age up ahead of time, if you can't utilize stone, if you can't double produce, then this is absolutely huge. And we said he wasted 150 wood. Well, how much is an Uvu? 150 wood, but the barracks will be utilized over time, whereas the Uvu, if it gets destroyed, won't.
Yeah, and the con is pretty annoying here, but like the nice thing about the Donzo is you can at least trade with it a little bit. You can chuck those spears at him, do a little bit of damage, and it does do bonus damage to him, I believe. 10 damage in total in Dark Age, so it adds up over time. But yeah, getting a lot of decent damage on the Ovu right now.
And I love the amount.
Deerstone's down.
Yeah, Deerstone's being dropped. I love the amount of investment that MarineLorD put into this. He's not overcommitting with 6 Donzo and going, oh, I'm going to burn this down really quick. He's just doing this as efficiently as possible. He goes, all right, I'm just going to invest a little bit into this. I'm going to deny up your Uvu, and I'm going to, build up my typical build behind this, and I feel safe about this.
And yeah, he's going to have the resources to click up to the next stage himself pretty soon. He has to be very careful not to get too close to that town center. If Beasty had garrisoned there, that Donzo would have been dead. He might actually get this Ovu down, though I imagine Beasty will pull some vills maybe to repair or build a tower next to it pretty soon.
That'd be my thought. I would expect 1 or 2 vills to just jump on out and try to do some repairing. The 2 Donzo might not be enough to just quite take down any villagers that will go try to end up repairing this. And there's the villager that comes on along.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that villager is not going to be easy to stop. It's probably going to do just fine in protecting the Ovu.
And again, that Donzo, it's taking town center fire. If BC just jumps on in, it's going to take down all of those units from just garrisoning on up.
Yeah, and you can see like MarineLorD's been trying, I think, to use the spear throw on the villagers, but it has a minimum range. So if you're within, I think, 2 tiles or 2.5 tiles of the enemy unit, he's not going to throw the spear. He's just going to go run straight at it. But Beasty not paying attention, actually losing a villager. That's not the kind of clean play we'd normally expect from him.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing. He hasn't lost the Uvu, but him losing that villager is definitely surprising. About to finally take down that first Donzo with the con. It's been feels like it's just been firing for the whole 5 minutes of this game at these Donzo. Another villager going back to repair too.
Yep, so the Ovu will live, but he did idle the villagers a decent amount and did get a villager kill, so very worth it for him. And behind this, MarineLorD has the large gold with the extra houses on it, so that pit mine is going to be generating up to 120 resources per minute instead of 90.
Yeah, definitely odd here. And, you know, what will, now that Feudal Age is about to be hit for MarineLorD, what will he transition into? Is this going to be, you know, the typical, what I would expect on a map like this to be a lot of Feudal Age aggression? You already noticed that villagers are being pulled up by Beasty. He's looking to start trying to gain positioning points on these houses. And one thing that I'm going to go ahead and say for Mongols, if he starts taking down these houses, that's gonna heavily snowball with the raid bounty and raid bonus coming in.
That's very true. Yeah, like the houses only have 400 hit points, so they die pretty quick if Beasty gets any units out that are capable of taking it down. He could get like quite a lot of resources from them.
Yeah, they definitely end up paying off if you end up doing that. And the stables is being dropped. He's securing up a point on top of that gold mine with an outpost. Arrow slits upgrade, I would assume, coming out soon, just to deny anything coming out to kind of that point. And villagers circling back around might look for another outpost to just say, hey, MarineLorD, you can have your like 20% of this map, which is already tiny already.
Yeah, and in response to these archers, MarineLorD started to train the javelin throwers. Definitely makes a lot of sense. That'll help defend against them, but he's gonna need a little bit to mass a few of them before they can really be an effective defense here.
Yeah, I just, you know, it's, ooh, they're starting to get some attacks out on the villagers. That's what they need to focus on, just to deny the little bit of tower rush coming in. But good micro by Beastyqt to pull back some of those low health villagers, and horsemen have come out to counteract the good old javelin throwers on the opposite side.
Well, the tower is actually going to get denied. That's really good for him, and he kills a villager too.
Mm-hmm. That's now the second villager that's been taken down. The archers are trying to focus down those Donzo to allow the horsemen to dive in on the back line of the javelin throwers, and the villager moves back up, finishes the outpost. And one thing about this outpost, it's in range of the archery range. So all of those javelin throwers that are going to be popping out of the forward range should take a little bit of damage from arrow slits.
Yeah, that's true. Thankfully, though, the javelin thrower does have quite high ranged armor, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for those javelin throwers.
Ooh, and a pull to this outpost to try to burn down the outpost here, and it's a heavy pull. And Beastyqt, he's got military here. He's going to start firing down. He jumps inside the outpost to just help snipe down a lot of those vills that are torching it.
Yeah, 2 villagers going down already. 3 villagers going down.
Oh,
that's he's got to be pretty happy about that, considering he lost 2 vills himself.
Yeah, BC's still onto just mainly archers that are just sniped down by those javelin throwers, but has equalized that vill count difference. Second town center drop from Beastyqt. So when he picked Mongols, I almost said something about this because I immediately thought of the short distance and wood wall when we used to see the town center rush come in through the chop through. Well, I was thinking Beastyqt, he might just say, yeah, I don't need outposts. I can move forward with a town center and take map control with a moving town center. So could be an idea, but it's quite risky if your opponent has military units and could potentially surround it or stop you from placing it down.
Yeah, he is moving it, probably only moving it to this hunt, but you never know. I don't think he has enough units to justify moving it to the base, though, so it's definitely got to be the hunt. Yeah, there we go.
It's the hunt. You know, there's always some hoping for some change of pace excitement. Beasty moving back off of that Uvu that just got torched on down, and MarineLorD looking to get some damage on the gold mine that's right near that initial TC, and he looks to kind of barely stay out of range of it for a bit.
Yeah, the Donso, or not the Donso, sorry, the Javelin Throwers, they have 6 range, So they don't outrange the TC, but they are slightly similar to a longbow in feeling when you get on top of the resources like this, where you're getting attacked from just a little bit further away from an archer. It could definitely be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's gonna constantly create that idle time, and guess what MarineLorD does? He says, all right, you outpost my base, well, revenge is coming for you. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start giving you that pincer movement. You invested greedily into that second TC. It's hard to punish playing against the Mongols, but one way you punish it is not allowing them to move out, not allowing them on secondary resources.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, the tower went up in an okay position. He's going to be able to... I don't think it quite reaches the gold mine if he uses the other side. But even if it does, like, thankfully Beasty actually has this other gold mine on the right side of the base here, and I think Beasty's not too concerned about this tower.
No, not at all. He just basically said, all right, you can have the west side, I'll retake the east. He's building an extra proactive outpost on that gold mine and has his second TC working for him now.
Yeah, and he's starting to... Well, he actually doesn't have a huge villager lead yet. He's only up 2 villagers, but he will start to grow that economy. But, I mean, behind it, MarineLorD, he's adding to his economy a little bit himself. He doesn't have a second town center, but he does have some cattle being trained.
Yeah, and not only cattle being trained, he's got quadruple the amount of military from Beasty. So if he's actually able to find a point that he can pressure the eco, it should be a nice little positioning point for him, especially when he's clearing up some of that few military that Beasty has right now.
But, yeah, these archers probably... he's going to escape with a couple of them, but...
Beasty
yeah,
doesn't have an
long
uvu.
against the javelins.
Beasty doesn't have an uvu. Beasty doesn't have double unit production.
Oh, that's true. That's the advantage of that setup with the tower, actually. Is that these stone outcroppings are not available for Beasty to build ovus on.
But Beasty is going up with the steppered out behind this, right behind his secondary TC. He's going to go up to Castle Age, and usually it's, oh, I'm going to start double producing Lancers, double producing crossbows, men-at-arms, whatever it may be. Well, he can't double produce anything. MarineLorD, I believe, can see this with the amount of small map it is, especially with the outpost he just finished up. He's definitely going to be able to see the steppered out. He can just idle up his own production for a bit and be a little bit delayed on his castle timing compared to Beasty if he chooses.
Yeah, he looks like he is probably saving for that Castle Age. And these towers probably going to be going
TC
down.
moving forward. No, the javelin throwers. Oh, no.
To block it, though.
This is what we were talking about. He's taking down the villagers. The second TC is not able to get placed. And MarineLorD's just making sure to stay right on top of that second TC now. BC needs military. He has none of it.
He's not training anything either. He doesn't... He could be making a knight or man-at-arms or something right now. There we go. One knight in queue. He's losing a lot of vills here, and this might actually be the game. That gold mine gets denied. He's still got lots of villagers in that tower. The tower might actually hold, though. The Donso are falling. It's not quite going to hold.
The con goes down. Multiple villagers go down. Yes, the second TC gets placed again, but Beasty is lacking in the economic count, and it looks like MarineLorD might just kind of full transition to aggression after he saw the greedy play.
But the man-at-arm is out now. There's going to be a knight out soon, too, and the tower's been focusing down the Donso. Beasty might just barely hold on to this tower as he tries to repair it. A couple of the villagers going down to the javelin throwers there. Third villager going to go down. It's not quite going to hold, it looks like.
And, I mean, Beasty just threw away those few military units that he had just built and isn't able to break out of this yet. He's sending, it looked like, more villagers to potentially go try to heal up this tower, but finally decides to pull back with his villagers that he does have, is running out of real estate, isn't even able to utilize that steppered out. 0 gold income coming in.
Yeah, he's also behind in villager count now.
The circle!
Oh,
the steppered out's
out
down!
is trapped.
Villagers pulled for the western side tower to go for a full burn. It looked like MarineLorD had the fortified outpost coming in, so if that fortification... It did not finish in time. And the steppered out does escape, as there was not a amount of units there with torches, as a lot of those were javelin throwers that circled it around.
Yeah, thankfully... thankfully, he is alive. He does have a gold mine. He still has 2 TCs. So he's not out of this game yet. MarineLorD is still in the second age. He hasn't clicked up to the next stage yet either. But yeah, it's definitely looking rough for Beasty. If he could, yeah, he's getting a prayer tent down now. He's got 2 relics inside his base, so
I think the
prayer tent's gonna be pretty good.
The Vills right there are pretty close to being targeted down by that outpost, but I think they're just out of range, luckily enough. Yeah, they don't get focused down as they go drop it off, but the javelin throwers, they definitely plan on focusing down those Vills. MarineLorD also notices the prayer tent, might try to just kill the Imam right as it pops out, and it actually forces the prayer tent to move back.
Yeah, and Beasty's trying to finally rebuild this Ovu. It's a sad day when you've been playing Mongols and not had an Ovu for the last 7 or 8 minutes, but he is going to get it down. But, well, maybe not. MarineLorD's repositioning.
He sees, because the thing about outposts on this map, it gives you vision of the whole entire map.
The entire map, that's right. So he just barely got there in time to deny that Ovu, and now building Rams. He's still not aging to the next stage, but I mean, who needs to be in the next stage when you've got so much pressure on your opponent?
Yeah, Beasty may have 4 production buildings, but he doesn't have anything coming out of those production buildings. Notice 2-minute arms still. I don't think 2-minute arms trade too effectively into 12 javelin throwers and 14 Donzo.
Yeah, if you can get some of the ranged armor upgrades, he could do okay on the with the man-at-arms, but the question is whether or not he's going to be able to trade enough of them.
There's not going to be room for this blacksmith once it starts
Siege
pulling
Workshop,
back.
though, that's what he needs. He needs a mangonel for sure to try and hold this.
Yeah, that's why I think he was trying to go heavy onto the Uvu. I think he was just going to try to click up with advanced siege engineering, laying the blacksmith down next to it. But again, he doesn't have the stone to get it, and he doesn't have, well, there's the siege workshop. Blacksmith still isn't able to be placed, but the next outpost has been taken down, and gold denied from Beastyqt yet again. Luckily, he'll have 2 relics giving him some of long-term gold security.
Yeah, and there is a mangonel in queue now. He has enough for a second mangonel as well once that's done, but the problem for him is going to be that MarineLorD's now aging finally to the castle age. So he's going to be having a tough time here. And with keeping the 1 mangonel alive once MarineLorD's able to get some springalds out.
Yeah, and Beasty, he's been castle for so long, and it just doesn't seem like he was able to do anything with castle age. He's had 2 TCs for so long, but he hasn't been able to do anything with his 2 TCs and building an eco lead. This mangonel is finally what he needs, especially if he can get a shot on those javelin throwers before MarineLorD reacts to it. And it does look like MarineLorD is deciding to pull back for the time being until Castle Age comes through, and then he can get some of those upgrades he needs.
Yeah, thankfully the mangonel is out. That's going to relieve a little bit of pressure, at least for the next minute or so. The Vill's going to repair. The Vill's going to die to the mangonel.
Barely jumps out of the range of that and jumps inside the outpost. And I think no, I think you just pull that Vill back and you sacrifice the outpost.
Yeah. Well, he might just try and micro it to try and repair it, but yeah, it looks like that's going to be what he tries to do.
Just keeping it alive as long as he possibly can. Not only is it a mangonel out, there's a traction trebuchet out for Beastyqt as well, and I think he's going to go try to grab this middle relic once he takes a little bit of map control, if he can.
Yeah, he thankfully did have 2 relics back in his base, so he has 2 relics, which is helping him in the economy as MarineLorD is keeping up with the 2 town centers, despite everything. So yeah, the relics are the only thing really keeping Beasty ahead at the moment. Yeah. Although, I mean, well, okay, we talk about relics, but Malians have 2 pit mines that are currently generating more than the 2 relics, so forget that.
And I think it was actually a 3rd pit mine being built finally.
That's right,
then
yeah.
It hit Castle Age, so it's going to start compounding that even more. And the big thing is just going to be, yeah, I was going to say the big thing is if these mangonels can connect before they start getting countered out from the opposite side from MarineLorD. Loses another Vill during that trade. Springle not as effective as it could be because villagers are just ready and there to heal up that mangonel right off the bat, right as the Springle shoots it from the opposite side. So we'll need an additional Springle or two out to start winning the siege war.
Yeah, Beasty's got a few Springles in queue himself. That's what he's going to need to keep himself alive here. Surprisingly, he's done a good job of holding on here. MarineLorD's not been able to do any like game-ending damage. He's killed a lot of vills for sure, but he hasn't been able to push underneath these double town centers. Yeah,
and the last final few outposts that were front and forward giving full vision of Beasty's base have been taken down. The Springolds aren't quite able to counter out that siege from the opposite side, and it looks like MarineLorD might start having an idea to secure up some of those relics for himself.
Yeah, he'll definitely want to be grabbing those pretty soon.
Yep, that's it. We see an Imam in queue. We see another Springold in queue, as well as just some villagers. He has that military count lead and isn't too worried about that for the time being. Just needs to focus in on keeping his military lead and taking down the siege on the opposite side.
Yeah, Beasty trying to push out, though. He's going to try and see if he can trade better against the Springolds.
And he did.
He does.
Yeah, huge trade on the Springolds.
There are a handful of Musafati warriors out here to deal with the men-at-arms, but not a lot, so this is actually a pretty decent timing for MarineLorD, or Beasty rather. And he trades okay. Maybe the Ovu will finally go back up.
He's going for it. He wants it. He needs it. MarineLorD might spot it out. No! And immediately does not end up going up.
That's okay. There's more villagers where that came from. They're expendable.
They are very, very expendable.
But yeah, Beasty has now finally broken the contain on his base a little bit. He's cleared out the towers. And he's got the Springold advantage now. So MarineLorD, he's got to either make a bunch more Springolds himself or start maybe mixing in some cavalry or something.
Yeah, the problem with the cavalry is just how many men-at-arms that that Beasty has. Are the cavalry going to be able to take down that big of a mass already? They're going to obviously go for a lot of the siege on the opposite side, and if those men-at-arms can just stay protecting those, that should help Beasty win this fight.
Yeah, the siege mass is just growing and growing. It just looks super strong for him right now. One thing Malians could try to do in this situation, if it wasn't mountain clearing, is try to make a lot of Musafati and use the stealth to get like a good flank on the siege. But because like the towers are going to give so much vision on this map, the stealth isn't going to be very effective.
Right, yeah, exactly that. Beasty moving forward, trying to get some of those outposts that we were just talking about, but villagers might get denied. Springold trades coming in, and this is the big thing. MarineLorD, if he can win the Springold trades, he could potentially win this fight. The Mangonels, huge fire on top of the front line for MarineLorD, starting to drop down on military count a little bit, and the siege is staying strong for Beasty for the time being, but loses all of the Springold, so has to fall back. Yeah, good trade for MarineLorD. He was able to get a good turnaround on the Springold count, adding that second siege workshop into the base. Yeah, there's 4 mangonels out for Beasty, but he just can't make use of those if he doesn't have his own Springolds. There's a 3rd siege workshop coming up for Beasty now. It seems like this game is all about the Springold count right now. Whoever wins that is going to be able to get a good position in the middle of the map here. Yeah, I think, Beasty, he doesn't have the real estate to actually build a ton of pastures, a ton of production buildings, and actually support the infantry mass as much. However, he can have as many villagers as he wants on wood with this back wood line, and he has gold income coming in from the giant gold vein and from the relic. So he's like, I'm doing with what the resources are giving me. The resources he's getting is gold and it's wood, which means siege. MarineLorD lacking in vision a little bit. This is really where Beasty is starting to get that advantage, and MarineLorD starting to do the exact same thing that Beasty is, which is a little bit more defensive powers to slowly like draw that line in the sand and start setting up and stepping up forward. Yeah, the Springold count still slightly in favor of MarineLorD. That's going to make it difficult for Beasty to push. At least one nice thing about the Mongols in this situation on this map is on this patch the Traction Trebuchet has 14 range now. It used to have 13, so
he will at least be able to push with a little bit more comfort, without having to fear the Springolds quite as much. But yeah, MarineLorD is just going full-on Springold mass. He really doesn't want Beasty to get the advantage in terms of Springolds.
And a good pullback with the Trebuchet. He reacted to the Springolds moving forward by pushing his Springolds and actually still took down the outpost without taking any damage from the opposite side. And there was a Springold pickup by MarineLorD. He's going to turn, fire down another couple Springolds. We're going to get some trades out. But the key is the Mangonels have been able to continue to stay alive for Beasty. But will they fire down on that frontline infantry mass, or will it be the ranged units? Oh, it looked like they just all missed their shots.
Yeah, and the positioning for the Springolds here has just been slightly better for Beasty, but the Musafati got on top of the Springolds, and they're going to be able to clean them up, and MarineLorD's going to hold.
Looks like if the last Springold gets taken out, the Men-at-Arms are trying to push forward, but is there enough here from MarineLorD to stop the Men-at-Arms from chasing down their siege?
Oh, he had Musafati to deal with the Men-at-Arms, but he tried to go for the Mangonels.
And they all got one shot by the Mangonel. I mean, MarineLorD, he looks like he doesn't have anything to deal with the Mangonels. He just continually has lost his frontline mass, and yeah, he might take down some Springolds, but the Mangonels are still alive and healthy, which takes down all of the units he keeps producing.
Yeah, and there's just not enough units here. I mean, at least the Javelin throwers have long range. They're able to just poke away at the Men-at-Arms from relative safety. Not safety from the Mangonels, but at least the Men-at-Arms aren't on top of them.
There's only one Mangonel
left.
left. Yeah.
Low HP as well.
And I mean, it's just Springold after Springold coming out for MarineLorD, and that's what's allowed him to slowly take down the siege. It's just the Men-at-Arms, though. You said, before the game, I asked you, what's the problem? What would be the counter for the Malians? It's sending Men-at-Arms. They don't really have the greatest reaction to that, and that's exactly what Beasty just continues to produce. Men-at-Arms, 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 and siege.
Yeah, it would be really nice maybe to do like some kind of cav switch for MarineLorD, but he doesn't really have a lot of space to make the stables he needs, or the farms even. He could eat the cattle as a way to get enough food to make stables, but he hasn't done that yet. So.
And Beasty finally has been able to have that Uvu produced, and so he essentially gets, free Springold emplacements on his outpost with the stone coming in from the Uvu. And so it's really nice as we see him moving up, taking more map control, and I'm sure he will try to secure up that sacred site here soon, too.
Yeah, that's actually, I didn't even realize that the sacred site was captured from MarineLorD, and Beasty hasn't done anything about it yet. There's 6.5 minutes on this timer. If he doesn't decap that sacred site and MarineLorD manages to win a fight, he could be in big trouble actually with the timer.
And BCQDC just finally left alone, but MarineLorD, he's running back with Vills. All of the infantry mass from Beasty decided to counteract that the keep that was being built, and instead the siege gets left alone, but MarineLorD isn't taking advantage of it yet.
Yeah, oh, the Javelin throwers are just eating so much damage from the Mangonels here. And Beasty, against all odds, actually holds the game and comes out with a win in the end.
Yeah, I felt like MarineLorD, he just kept on producing Javelin throwers, kept on producing Donzo, and he just needed something to counteract Mangonels and siege. That's what he needed. He just needed that, but wasn't able to do so. Beasty able to hold, able to continue. It felt like, just how you said, against all odds, it felt like he had no room, no map control. MarineLorD denied a lot of that second TC positioning and did a ton of damage, but just Beasty able to hold strong and take that dub.
Yeah, it would have been maybe good for MarineLorD to try and age a little bit sooner. Like maybe he just stuck around in the second age a little bit too long, or maybe he needed to fully commit to the second age. Maybe there was something in between that he needed to do. But yeah, really good job on Beasty for not panicking when he lost all of his vills. He lost his towers. He lost, just the step redoubt almost, I think, went down at one point as well. Like he did a really good job of defending from that situation and coming back.
Yeah, you're definitely right. And so we see two of the OG civs take down two of the new ones. But in this next mirror matchup, I assure you we will see an Ottoman victory.